Hello, this is Robert Rickover. I'm an Alexander Technique teacher in Omaha, Nebraska, and my guest is Imogen Ragone, an Alexander Technique teacher in Wilmington, Delaware. We've done a series of 4 interviews on the topic concentration. FM Alexander's take on it, um, what the why it can be really bad, how we got to this mess, why we got there, all that kind of stuff, which I think would be of great interest to Alexander teachers and students. But I think I'd like to address initially people who are considering taking Alexander lessons and for whom concentration is almost certainly not their main reason for thinking about lessons, probably not on their list at all. But I, I just want to say a few words to them first, and then say a few words to teachers and students. That you as a potential student may have concerns about back pain or stiff necks or stress or want to be perform better as a musician or an actor or whatever. These sort of standard reasons for taking Alexander lessons. But chances are, if and when you do take lessons, a side effect, a really nice side effect, is you'll be able to, I think you put it, be able to focus better mentally.
Mhm.
Anything you want to add to that? That
I, I would just put it out there that I think Alexander technique can help you concentrate in a
right,
healthy way,
in a healthy
um,
way. Yep.
help you focus, help you kind of direct your attention um, productively, constructively, and I think there's probably a few reasons, but I two kind of main ones in my mind, how and why it does that. And I think it could be a great reason for someone seeking
It
Alexander
could
lessons.
be, but in
Mhm.
the world right
But
now,
yes, I've never had
that's
someone
not,
come to
yeah.
me for
Yeah,
that reason.
absolutely. But I would say
Mhm.
to people who aren't particularly interested in concentration but are thinking of taking lessons, they don't really, probably you won't want to watch the next 4, but you might be interesting to you to see how Alexander teachers interact and think about things. But I would suggest that if you do take lessons after you've taken some lessons, you might want to come back and take a look at those 4. That's really all I have to say on
Mhm.
that. And now I want to address Alexander Technique teachers and students um, as the second part of this little podcast.
Oh,
Yeah. Or do you have something
well,
more you
I have
want to
more to
say?
say
Oh, well,
for
say some more to potential students first. Go ahead.
yeah about
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
how the Alexander technique can help you concentrate.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to say some more about that?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
go for it.
um um if this is an issue for you, if you find that your attention is just all over the place and you're distracted, or that when you've been concentrating a long time, you find that you've got neck pain and back pain
Okay.
because
Yeah. Yep.
um you know Alexander technique addresses how we move our physical body, how our postural patterns, how much tension we bring to any given task. And
Hmm.
if you think of the kind of classic idea of concentrating, there's a lot of kind of bearing down and furrowed brow and tension. And, if you are coming because you've got back pain,
Hmm.
that sort of concentration is not going to help your back or your neck. So, um, so a side effect of the things that are going to help you release that tension, that's going to help your back, is going to help you not be in that postural set when you are concentrating or focusing. Um, but
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
also believe, kind of from the other side of things, concentration can, in the unhealthy sense that we
Hmm.
go into more in the future, videos.
Hmm.
Um, it's a very, very narrow focus that so kind of narrowing of the body, but it's also a kind of narrowing of the mind, which doesn't help you maybe see the big picture and see um, some of the many and various uh, elements of any given task. While at the same time, because you're aware, you're not going to get distracted by the thoughts that are not relevant to the task at hand. So it's kind of like this kind of really nice balance. You're not going to be distracted by uh, incoming thoughts about what's for dinner. Oh, I forgot to put that on my shopping list. Oh, I must remember to mail that letter. All those,
Hmm.
oh, did someone let the cat out? I don't know. You're not going to be distracted so much by those because you'll be much more aware to notice immediately and be able to kind of say, no, I'm
Right.
doing
Yep.
this right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But you're also not going to be in that tunnel vision that doesn't let you see all the pieces that are relevant to the task at hand. Um,
Right.
you know,
Right.
Obviously,
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
in an ideal situation, but I do believe for me personally and for many people that the technique does offer this, as you say, side effect, as you
Yeah.
say, but a definite benefit, I think,
A
to
really good side effect for
Mhm.
sure. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because we work with our awareness. That's basically
Yeah.
how our awareness and our thinking.
Yep.
And so we're learning to focus in an open but intentional way. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Anyway, so that
Yeah.
I felt was like very important to say. And so if you would like to be able to concentrate better, you can learn constructive concentration. I just came up with that
Oh, that's right. Right. Right.
in your Alexander lessons. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in fact, the book that a lot of what we talked about is based on is called Constructive Conscious Control of the Individual.
Yeah, so that's actually
F.I.S.
interesting because
Alexander.
I'm not fond of the word control, but you
Yeah.
might
But he
also
was
be
into
able to.
constructive consciousness.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also constructive conscious control kind of speaks to like you can put your mind where you want it to be, and that
Yeah.
could be a definition of concentration,
Could be. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
of the healthy kind
A
anyway.
healthy
So,
kind. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay, that's good. Thank you
Yeah.
for
All right.
for
I've got my piece in.
keeping me focused on real people's lives,
hmm
you might say.
hmm
But so now I do want to briefly address Alexander teachers and maybe quite a few Alexander students that this series is pretty interesting if you're all interested in the history of the technique, but also it it has brought to light some aspects of Alexander's thinking that I mean most of what a lot of what he thinks about concentration some is really good. He's got some amazingly good insights into the issue of the narrowing kind of concentration.
hmm
But out of that comes some ideas of his, particularly around Alexander's self-directions, or as he called them, orders,
mm
that are not so great. And I think primarily because he doesn't really understand how the mind works. He was writing in 1923.
hmm
He didn't understand about the nature of the conscious mind and the nature of the unconscious mind and how one of them does the thinking, and the other one better be doing the doing, or there's going to be a lot of trouble. And he has a solution to the concentration problem, but I would say when you get to that solution, you'll see it was not a very good one, in my opinion, anyway. So I think it'd be a very interesting thing for anyone in the Alexander world as well.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
anything you want to add to that?
Um, not in this moment. I don't think so. No.
Well, the other thing I want to say is I want to thank you for, you are responsible for this conversation because I wasn't really thinking along the lines that I'm now thinking along in terms of concentration, and
Well, I think I brought it into
you brought it
the
into,
thinking about how people are thinking about what concentration is now and what people are um, troubled with or trying to address now.
yeah,
And I think it's maybe a little different from what was going on in 1920s. So.
I do believe that it's quite different. Yes. Yes. So, well, is there anything else you want to add to this overall conversation?
No, I don't think so. But just if if this is your first kind of touch of hearing and learning a bit about the Alexander technique,
Yeah,
um, and concentration is something you would like to work on, I do believe Alexander technique has a lot to offer. And if you're a teacher or a student that's very much been immersed in the work, I think you'll find the subsequent videos quite interesting, and we'd love to hear what you have to say on the topic too.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
We have four of those interviews, and there's no reason why we couldn't have a fifth if something comes up
Hmm.
that fits into the sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my guest today has been Imogen Ragone, and I'll be putting a link to her website, my website, Alexander Technique website, uh, by this interview. And thank you so much for indulging me in this whole project.
You're very welcome. It's been interesting.